Hello, everyone. Congratulations on the end of the year and your exams being finished. And for those of you in your final year, it's just graduation. And I look forward to seeing all of you either in person or virtually at graduation. Make sure to watch for the emails coming from the registrar's office about graduation if you're in your final year. Well, the last installment of Insight Dayton Law, I spoke about the law school. This time, I want to speak about you. With the year over, it's a good time to take stock on where you've been and where you're going. My former wife, Renee, said at the funeral of her father, who was a lawyer, he envisioned the life he wanted to live, and he lived it. And I think that that's a great epitaph that I would really like if somebody could say that at the end of my career or the end of my life. Indeed, he was a lawyer in Philadelphia at a time when a lot of people had small firms, and he set out to become a lawyer from the time he was a young boy and eventually graduated from Temple Law School and started a practice and was extremely well known in Philadelphia. People all over town called him counselor, and he had a beautiful family and was really very satisfied. That's what he wanted to do with his life. Well, how does one actually live with that kind of personal and career success? I think it's a real occupational hazard for us that a lot of lawyers actually don't, that a lot of lawyers end up just sort of following along. People come to law school because a lot of times of parental expectations or peer expectations, and they never really define themselves and decide what they really want to do and what's going to really make them happy. It's one of those types of things that's a lot easier to say than to do. I think this is actually a good time with the end of the year to sort of take stock and think about this, because it takes a lot of emotional energy and it actually takes time to put yourself in the direction of thinking about what you really want to do. It's actually a project, and it should be looked at as a project, like taking another course or getting a job. It's something that you really do have to focus on if you want to be successful at it. And I think there's two aspects to it. One is the inner aspect of looking into yourself and really understanding what excites you and what interests you. And the other is the external aspect of looking out into the world and figuring out exactly what the opportunities are. And of course, the two work together. So let me first address the external aspect of all of this. The external part you're all engaged in by just coming to law school. You're learning about different areas of the law. You're learning about what interests and excites you, animates you in the law. Beyond what you're just doing in class, though, it's really helpful to get as many different kinds of experiences as you can in clerkships, in externships, in clinical experiences. As much as you can get exposed to during these years of law school, the better. It's also really helpful, since you can't have 25 jobs while you're in law school, to talk to as many people as you can, to go out and talk to friends of your families or friends of friends, or people that your professors can introduce you to, and to find out from them what their areas of practice are like, and just the way they've met the challenges of the careers and the decisions that they've made. So I think this is extremely helpful in giving you a sense of what's out there. And the inner part, though, is probably even more challenging, because that demands really having, first and foremost, I think, the courage to really look inside and say, what do I want to do? Oftentimes there can be a lot of external noise, all sorts of other people's expectations about what you should do, what's trendy, what everybody else says should be done. And it can be hard as we get sort of inculcated into that way of being, to really step back and develop our own inner sense of what we want to do. Oftentimes that inner sense can become so atrophied that we don't even know it ourselves. So I think it's really important to begin to cultivate that. Find the things that you resonate to. Listen when you find to yourself, when you're in class and you're like, wow, wow, that's really interesting. Or you talk to a friend about what they're doing and you find that really interesting. So this is obviously just barely skimming the surface of an extremely important topic. But as I say, as the year comes to an end, this is a great time to really step back and set out to envision the life you want to live and to live it. Thank you.